Here we are in the Activities tab of a job. Now, activities are something that are usually over and above the fixed contract. So in this case, I've got a grounds maintenance job. And maybe we'd have, as a part of our fixed contract, all the grounds maintenance work done weekly. We might have extra charges, though, done per application or per visit for things like fertilization or installing mulch or applying pest control. And I may also want to track when we did quality inspections so that I can look back and have a history of when did we fertilize and did we charge them, when did we install mulch and how much did we install, etc. So typically these are the only things that are above and beyond the scope of the fixed price of the contract, but they're a great way to track things like fertilizer applications in grounds maintenance or salt applications in the snow and ice world. To set up an activity is really simple. Down in the bottom right, you're going to go to Add Activities. And you can see when I click Add Activities, I've got a whole bunch of default activities showing up. Some are crossed out. Those are ones that are already added to the contract. But it gives me a bunch of these other options. And maybe we'll look at this one here called aeration. Now, where is this list coming from? This is a list that you set up. And just to show you quickly, I'm going to flip over to the Settings section of LMN. So I'm actually in Settings right now, and down here under Activities, I've set up all the different activities that I want to bill in my company. So this is where that comes from. Back to the job now. So I can select a specific activity, or I could even add a new one if I haven't created it yet. But then it asks me, do you want to track quantity? So if I was doing something like mulch, or I was billing salting by the bag for walkway salting, I might want to turn that on. In this case, I'm doing aeration, so it's unlikely I'd want to measure anything or track anything by a quantity. Next, it asks me, how is this billed? Is it billable? So if it's part of the contract price, maybe it's not billable at all, but I still want to track when we did it. So I'd leave that as it is. In this case, maybe I'm billing extra for the aeration. So I'll set it as billable. It's not billable per unit because we're not going to bill aeration necessarily by the square foot. Maybe I've just got a flat rate for my aeration. So I'll go per application. And maybe I'm billing my client $150 for aeration. Down the bottom here, when I'm ready, and I can do this for as many as I want, when I'm ready, I click OK. Now aeration will show up as an activity on this job. Now let's flip over for a second to a timesheet to see what this will look like. So I'm opening a timesheet now that's already been done. And it doesn't have aeration on it because I created this timesheet before I just added aeration there. What it looks like when the crews clock out is this. When they stop work on this task, when they exit or clock out of this task, it brings up this screen. So it offers them for sure notes, but it also offers them, did we do any of these tasks? So fertilization, mulch, pest control, or quality inspection. If we did quality inspection, my crews just need to touch this with their finger. And if we also installed mulch, I'd touch that with the finger. And you can see here, mulch also asks you how many did you install or how much did you install. And my crews could put the number in there. If they'd completed the list, they'd go down and click Save. And then what it would do is build this billing information in the background. So I'd be able to produce a report out of LMN Time that shows all the services we did and how much we need to charge on which different days. So on this day, September 6th, it would say we installed 8 yards of mulch and we did a quality inspection. And because 8 yards of mulch I also set up to be billable by the unit, it would also add to that report 8 yards times $36 a yard, and I'd get billing information right out of this. So that's how to use activities. Activities are really for billable events or even non-billable events that you want to track. So I want to print a report and say, when did we do these events? And if it's billable, LMN Time will actually calculate how much you need to bill for them as well. Activity history is the only thing we didn't touch on here, and that's if we set up, say, the wrong charge for or the wrong type of billing even for a specific type. So if I did mulch installed by the yard and I'd set it up for 36, but it should have been 40, we'd print the report, we'd realize that. To fix that, I just need to go activity history, set the rate to 40, update it for all dates, and click OK. And it says, are you sure this change can't be undone? You say OK, and it comes back and says, OK, we updated 4 activity records, and I'd hit OK. Now all my old billing information would show 40. Everything, of course, going forward would be 40 as well, and I'd be able to print an accurate report for the client. So that's it, how to set up activities. Just simply go Add Activities, pick the activity you want to add, whether it's billable or not, and then leave it up to the crews to click it when they're on that site and completing the activity. You'll be able to generate a billing report the minute those timesheets are submitted from the field.